Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the Real Quick with Mike Swick podcast special quarantine series, episode number 3. We have a very special guest today, someone who's been an inspiration throughout my entire career, a world champion in almost every promotion, an icon of the sport of MMA, and a movie star, no less, Quinton Rampage Jackson. All right, Quinton Jackson, welcome to the show, buddy.
Hey, thanks for having me.
So I have to ask you, how are you handling this quarantine and all this crazy coronavirus going around?
Man, it's the craziest thing I've ever been through in my lifetime. You know, I don't know what to expect. I just been staying at home. As soon as I heard about it, I just self-quarantined right away. So I've been on quarantine a lot longer than the rest of the world. As soon as I heard about it, I just stayed at home. You know, I had fought like on December 31st in Japan, right? And, you know, I've never had the flu or anything before in my life. And one day I was in Japan and I got sick right before I came home. I got really sick, something I never felt before. I had like I was cold, but I was sweating and something wrong with my stomach. And I called my ex-wife, you know, she's Japanese, she's at home. And I was like, hey, what's going on? Yeah, I'm getting sick because, you know, she knows about all the flu and stuff like that. She said, I don't know, maybe you got the flu, but it only lasts for 24 hours, right?
Right.
So I was like, man, it's not the flu. I never had the flu before. So honestly, I don't know. I think I probably had like the first strand of that shit at first. It lasted for 24 hours. I was really sick. I had to lay in the bed for the whole day, and then I was done. And then she says like, no, maybe you had like a 24-hour bug, but you know. Maybe I did have like a 24-hour flu, but, you know, I don't know much about flus and stuff like that. So as soon as I heard that a lot of people was getting sick and stuff, I said, fuck this, I'm staying home. And I've been home ever since. I only left my house once recently. I went to go over my kid's house because we're all moving together, and I had to go do some stuff over there. It was kind of weird even leaving my house. I have no idea what's going on. I don't know what to think of this. Rashad Evans was telling me about this shit like a couple of years ago. Me and him was in Atlanta doing a movie, and he said, hey, man, when 5G come out, a lot of people going to get sick. Some people going to die. And he said it's really bad for our bodies. It's like it's radioactive like frequencies. And, you know, he said our body's like energy, and it's going to fuck our bodies up. And I didn't really pay too much attention back then. I listened to him because I know Rashad is really intelligent. And he knows a lot of stuff, but I was like, I don't know, 5G. I'm like, why would they put some shit out like that they know is going to fuck humans up? And I didn't pay it no mind. But then so many conspiracies and stuff going on about what's causing this and what's going on. So I hit Rashad up again. I said, hey, man, I remember you telling me about that 5G shit. What's up with those crystals? Because he was telling me about some crystals.
I heard about this,
I don't know what's going on. I just want to be safe. So I went and bought some crystals that he told me about. I got these crystals and shit.
You got real crystals.
Hell yeah. I got that shit. Got it for my family. Put one in every room. Want to wear that shit around my neck. Probably going to swallow some. Fuck it.
Yeah. You know, yeah, I heard that before, man. I heard, not only did I hear about this 5G, whatever, but I also heard about a lot of people remembering that they got sick in like January timeframe. Like a lot of people was like, man, a lot of people were sick in January, a lot of my friends or whatever the case, and got over it. I hope that's the case, man, because if that's the case, that means that some people might be immune to this thing and they just get rid of it. And so it's not susceptible to everybody. So I hope that is the case, but there's no way to know because obviously we weren't testing for coronavirus back then.
Right. It wasn't in the mass media. Sorry, my dog wants to come up and hang out.
That's all right.
It wasn't in the mass media, and I heard it is mutated.
Yeah.
So maybe when people's getting sick, that was probably like the first strain. So who knows?
Does your dog have a green mohawk?
Oh yeah.
Did I see that correct?
Gizmo got a green mohawk.
Wow. Of course
coolest,
Gizmo does. Yeah. Why wouldn't he?
Yeah, he's the coolest dog ever.
That's awesome, man. You know, I was actually there in Japan with you, believe it or not.
You was in Japan?
Yeah, I was in Japan. I actually flew in, and I had to rush to get to your fight because I came in for Manel Cap. Manel Cap's my guy. He fought in the main event on the 31st against Asakura. He won the championship. Yeah, he's from AKA Thailand.
I saw that fight. I was at that. Yeah.
So I was actually there. I didn't have time to do much, but I just flew in real fast, caught that fight, had to get Manel cut for weight and everything, and then he went on to fight, had a great fight, won the championship and everything. But so I mean, that's good to know that you're just like playing safe. You're just staying home. You're not training. You're just getting. That's the best thing, man. It seems like the smartest thing to do, because you know you can't get it if you're not around it.
Yeah, I'm trying to like run around the block and just do push-ups and stuff at home. But you know, I've never been the type of person that worked out at home. You know, I kind of regret that now. I wish I would have had a home gym, but you know, I just never wanted to bring my work home.
Yeah,
but now I just wish I had like more stuff to do around the house. This is a depressing time as well. Like sometimes it's hard to even get out of bed. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
because I get depressed when, you know, I hear so many people are dying and stuff like that. And you know, I'm guilty of this too, but a lot of people are kind of like, it was like making memes and making fun of it. I think it's good to laugh and stuff like that, but I think that like some jokes are kind of too harsh, because a lot of people are dying. Like a couple of my friends' fathers have died, and one of my friends I play video games with told me that his dad is in a coma because he had pneumonia. Then he caught the coronavirus, and so he's in a coma and fighting for his life right now. And our generation, we just making fun of it. I don't think we understand the severity of this.
I think social media has gotten to a point where it's about being funny and making memes so much that when the worst disaster of our generation comes around, nobody stops to think about, okay, let's turn off the memes and the making fun and take things serious, like these spring breakers in Florida and these people that are still partying and hanging out. Meanwhile, just the stats to give you an idea, this morning, there's 577,000 cases in the U.S. So the U.S. is by far the epicenter of this virus. Of those 577,000 cases, 520,000 are active, and 23,000 people have died. So that brings the fatality rate to 21%, which has been steady for the last couple of days. But 2 days ago, I had a podcast with Michelle Watterson, and it was 19,000 people dead, almost 19,000 people. And 2 days later, I'm talking to you, it's 23,000. So it's like between 1,500 and 2,000 people a day are dying, and it's just starting in America. I mean, it hasn't even really kicked off yet. And there's 520,000 active cases, and you figure out, or you come to the conclusion of that, you know, when those get resolved, whether people recover or they die, if it stays what it's doing right now, that's 21% of that 520,000 people statistically are going to die. And it's going to be a lot more than 520 because it's jumping up 30,000 a day. So that's scary, man. Like that's fucking scary. That's the worst thing that we've ever had in our lifetime. Yeah,
that's super scary. And I think, I don't know, could it all be avoided if we just stayed away from each other? You know, why is the number rising so rapidly? Is what I want. Why? I don't understand.
Yeah, it's really contagious, and the problem is, so the worst thing we've had in as of late history, which isn't like obviously very recent, was the Spanish flu, the Spanish thing, the influenza. I think that killed like 50 million people, but the fatality rate was 2%. So essentially what that meant was that of all the people that got the Spanish flu, only 2% of those people died because of medication. And then the 2% were the 2% that couldn't get the medication. They were in rural areas or whatever the case, they didn't have access. So considering that this thing is a 21% fatality rate because people need hospital beds, they need respirators. It's not about just medication, especially with old people with pre-existing injuries. That makes this a far more dangerous virus if it gets to that level and spreads to that depth. So I'm with you, man. Thailand is cracked down. The roads are blocked. Phuket, the island of Phuket, is completely locked in, and we're actually segregated. I guess you could say almost like districts, like it's some kind of movie or something, but we're in like little sub areas of Phuket, and we can't even go in other areas. So like, and I'm talking the areas are small. It's not like a city. It's like a neighborhood. So like we have a couple stores, like a 7-Eleven and like one shopping center per like area, maybe if we're lucky. And so for me to do these podcasts, I do all this stuff in my house myself. And then I take all the files because they're so big. And so tomorrow I have you tonight, Forrest Griffin in the morning. I'm going to take both podcasts, and then I got to go to the military checkpoint, and I'm meeting my staff there. I can't even go to my gym because it's in a different area. So I'm meeting my staff at the checkpoint, and then we talk to the guards, and then we do a handover, and I hand over the USB drive to my staff. They take the USB drive, they go back, they edit it, and then they post it. So it's like that's how we're doing these podcasts. Is we're literally having to go to checkpoints and hand over the USB drive, and then get these things processed. It's crazy, but I think it's going to definitely make some difference here compared to America, where they're just not. A lot of people are not listening at all.
Right, people not listening. People still gathering. Like those spring breakers, I don't know what the hell they was thinking.
It's crazy, man. Absolutely crazy.
What made you move to Thailand?
You know, well, I've been coming to Thailand for like 20 years, since 2000. I was here for the millennium. So training Muay Thai for MMA. Obviously, you know, Muay Thai, there's a lot of great moves for MMA, and I was a striker. So I wanted to have some flashy knockouts and stuff. And there was just never, I was having to come train Muay Thai, go home, get rid of all the more Muay Thai stance and stuff that I can't use in MMA, re-break myself, and then have my full MMA camp. So it had always been like kind of like my dream to build eventually a gym here, because it's hard to get Thai trainers out of Thailand. It's really, really difficult with visas and stuff. So I was thinking about it these last few years that I was training here, and I was like, man, this is the perfect location. I mean, I'm on an island here. You know, you got the beaches, you got the islands, you got the great food, you got the low stress, you got the friendly people, you got the low economy. You have everything that a fighter really wants and needs and has to have to survive to be a fighter, versus me growing up in San Jose, you know, trying to make a living in the Silicon Valley and also be a fighter, you know, where the freaking economy was crazy, and we're working 2 and 3 jobs and having to train and fight in the UFC and all this stuff. So then I just got more ambitious with my goals and decided to build a bigger gym, and AKA Thailand was born. You know, I had to fight some fights and save up some money and take some risk. I lost my first gym here, lost 6 figures in cash, was pretty depressed about that. Went home, came back. You know, it was kind of a learn. That was like my college. You know, people call it a failure, but I call it my college. You know, I don't have college debts, but I have that loss for that first gym. But I use that loss to learn how to make a proper gym and do it the right way in a foreign country. So AKA Thailand's been going strong ever since, up until mid March, man. Now we're shut down.
Come out there, man. I was getting everything set up. I just decided to buy a house right before all this stuff and move back in with my kids. And so I was planning on setting all that up, and I wanted to hit you up and come out there and train. Yep. I saw Tyron Woodley training out there. I'm like, man, that looks dope. I need to lose like 20 or 30 pounds. And my friend Seabass was out there. He said he lost like 20 pounds training out there. I think he was training with you, wasn't he?
Tyron lost like 30 pounds, or he lost at least 20 pounds for sure in the first like couple weeks. Like he was killing it, man, sweating and working hard. And we have fun. So it's like one of those things where it's like, you don't have to train in an environment that's not fun, you know, and not relaxing and cool. Like there's nothing wrong with going to the beach and relaxing on the water. There's nothing stressful that's going to take away from your training. So it's like, there's no reason not to come to Thailand and enjoy good things, good food, good, you know, economy, friendly people, nice beaches, while you're also getting your training in. So that's what makes it a perfect place. And we were talking, and I'm definitely going to have you out as soon as we get this thing open. So I'm just waiting for this crisis to end, man, so we can get the doors open and get people back out there. So
I just hope all this stuff is over with soon, because it's very depressed. I always get depressed when a lot of like bad stuff going, like even when like the tsunamis hit, you know, Japan and all the earth, I get depressed, and this around here is real depressing just to see people, you know, dying and going. It's just, I don't know, it's just really hard to deal with.
Yeah. No, I hear you, man. Yeah, well, it's good to see you're staying safe. I think that's the best option. And that's what I'm doing these podcasts for, is kind of seeing where people are. And I'm kind of taking this timestamp in history, because I don't see anybody doing podcasts with guys like yourself, fighters and celebrities, that are more covering this. And so it's like, it'll be good to look back one day when this is all over with and kind of see what Quinton was doing during the coronavirus and what different people were doing. You know, it's like I'm trying to hold this time and capture these moments.
Honestly,
you know,
I don't do many interviews these days. You know, I've been shying away from it. But basically, what I've been doing during this quarantine, I've been playing a lot of video games. I've been running around the block here and there. I started coloring and like the coloring books. I like coloring. I used to do it with my daughter. Nice. And I taught my daughter how to color when she was like real young, and it got me into coloring again. You know, now she's grown up. She's 13 now, and she's she's actually turned into a nice little artist. But you know, she's half Japanese, and
Mm-hmm.
and you know, she know how to read and write Japanese, right? And when you write Japanese, I think that helps you become an artist because it's like drawing like figures or something. And
Right.
she now she's turned to a painter and stuff like that. So her and I, we plan to start painting and stuff together. She's gonna show me how to do the painting. And I started reading books. I've been watching like old episodes of what you call that show, Shark Tank.
Yeah.
And I got
That's a great show.
I got really interested in that, and it kind of taught me a lot, right? So I bought my first book in over like 20 years.
Yeah.
I bought like Mark Cuban's book
Yeah.
because I think that guy's a business genius. So I just been trying to educate myself and do stuff that I wouldn't normally do, you know. So I just
Good, man. That's good to hear that you're keeping busy. And also, Mark Cuban, I just read that he's keeping it open to run for president. So he's considering possibly running for president, and that would be something, man. You know, because he's a real business genius and a good guy, good family
he's
guy.
A good guy.
You know.
Yeah, you can tell he's a good guy. You can tell like he's a no nonsense type of guy, but really he's a good guy.
Yeah. Well, I got to ask you, man, I haven't had you on the podcast before, so I got to get into a couple things. I want to ask you about the A-Team, man. That is one of my favorite shows. Obviously, I mean, obviously back in the day, you know, like it was 83, 87. So I was like 8 or 9 years old when I was watching the old A-Team, and then it became, you know, obviously you did the movie in 2010. And that was, I remember when you did that movie, man, I was so pumped because it was an MMA fighter getting such a big role. And like Bradley Cooper there, one of my favorite actors too right now. How was that, man? And two questions. How was that? And then also, I think what was the slogan was "There is no plan B," but it turned out to be "There is no sequel," and I want to know why, because like that was it did 177 at the box office, so it's like it was a successful movie. First, how was it, and second, why has there not been a sequel?
Okay, that's two real easy questions. Man, it was so fun doing that movie. I made friends for a lifetime. I'm still real good friends with a couple of the actors that was, you know, in there, and I'm really good friends with the director. And I got to be a big kid for like 6 months. It was hard though. I'm not gonna lie. It was hard work. I was always the first one to lead to be on set because I had to do makeup to cover up my tattoos, and they liked one of my tattoos, so they had to recreate it on the other arm because of the story. I needed the certain tattoo on my left arm, so they had to cover it up. And you know, even though I didn't have as much dialogue as other people, but it's just that damn makeup trailer. I was in there for hours with my arm raised up like this for hours, so they can paint the stuff over the tattoos.
Yeah.
But it was a lot of fun. You know, I hung out with a lot of the, you know, the people that work behind the scenes and stuff because, you know, it was shot in Canada. Everybody's really nice. You know, I was in Vancouver. I love Vancouver.
Right.
So it was a good experience. I was there for 6 months. I got to be a big kid every day. I got to tell people, shut up, fool, all the time. But the best memories I had is Chateau Copley, the character that played Murdoch. Him and I, we was the only two legit A-Team fans, and so stuff that you guys never saw, like the whole time me and him was together, we act like Mr. T and Murdoch the whole damn time. We played the part the whole time. It was so fun. And your second question, the reason why they didn't make a sequel is because even though they did that well in the box office, I think they spent $300 million on the movie, and they didn't market it right. They went up against Karate Kid, which didn't do well on TV, but it did great opening weekend because of the marketing and stuff. Like they marketed well overseas, like other countries did a lot better with it. But Fox, I don't know. They had this one, I can't remember his name now. It's been 10 years, but they had this one guy at Fox, and he just dropped the ball. He didn't promote the movie right. I don't think they even did the posters right. Like I did a tour for the movie. It went all over the world promoting the movie, and every other country did it right except for America. Other countries, they had like exciting posters. They had us like, you know, the scene where we was flying the tank and
Yeah.
stuff like that. They had the van jumping, crashing through stuff on the posters. In America, the poster was just four faces, our four faces, all the stars on there, right? And no one knew who me and Chateau Copley was really, because he only did like one movie, District 9 or whatever. And then they knew Liam and Bradley Cooper, but they just had our four pictures on the poster. And it was kind of like, what they got to do with 18? You know what I'm saying? So they just didn't promote it good enough. And so most people didn't see it in the theaters. When you go to watch a movie, what you guys need to learn about the movie industry. So they base on if they're going to do a sequel or not on the opening weekend. If the movie smashes it the opening weekend, then they'll put money up for a sequel. If it don't,
Right.
then most likely they won't. I'm not saying that they haven't ever done that, but it's harder to get the okay to do a sequel, and they just never came back with a sequel. But it smashed it on TV when when it came to cable and stuff like that. The movie smashed it. It's a great movie. It's funny. It's action. The director, Joe Kernahan, he's a genius. I remember him not liking the script that he had, and us acting like shooting a movie and the script. They changed the whole script, and it's not been finished. So he was writing the script as we went. He changed it. He's writing it as we were shooting. So he changed up the whole movie and made it into a great movie. He a genius. I think the guy's a genius, but they just didn't market it right.
I know it was kind of earlier in his career. What was it like working with Bradley Cooper? Just because I'm kind of a fan of his now and some of the movies that he's done since then.
Bradley Cooper is like super cool. He's like a super cool guy, and he's real nice, and he's a hard worker. Bradley Cooper is a real hard worker, and he I learned a lot working with him and those other guys. I learned something from working with all of them. Even Jessica Biel, she's like super nice, super cool, super down to earth, and you just learn so much from working with people like that. But Bradley, he's a hard worker. I wasn't surprised that he was going to, I think I already thought he was a star then. When I already thought he was a star, like a big star, but I wasn't surprised that he was going to blow up super big after that, because the guy's just a hard worker. He understand like the movie business. There's a lot to the movie business that like we don't know. Like me doing that movie and being, I've done other small movies. That's the biggest one I've done. But when you work on a movie set like that for 6 months, you kind of watch movies differently. It took me like 5 years to really sit back and enjoy movies, because I learned so much from those guys. You know what I'm saying? I learned so much about the movie business, and then it kind of ruins movies for you a little bit.
Right.
Just because I learned so much from those guys. Those guys know the ins and outs of everything.
So I got to ask you something, or tell you something, a funny little story that you don't know about. So Dana calls me, and this was in 2008, and Dana said, this is back when Dana was getting the UFC popular and trying to get the guys, more famous and in movies and stuff. And he calls me in 2008, and he's like, I'm going to send you to LA and audition for a movie. And he goes, I think you're going to get it. I think it's a good movie. I think it's a good role for you. And I was like, oh, cool, man. I've never done this before. I had no idea what to do. He's like, okay, so Clive Owen's doing this movie. It's called Midnight Meat Train. He goes, so I'm going to fly you down to LA. We'll take you there and you can audition, and I think you're going to get it. So I'm like, sweet, cool, no problem. I don't even think I got this. I didn't get the sides before, and I don't think. Or maybe I did. I don't know. No, I didn't for that one. And then I showed up there, and then I went to check in at that little studio, whatever it was, and I read the description, and it was like, extremely intimidating person, and it talked about what the scene was going to be about. You're going to put up a fight against the main guy, and like you need to be like aggressive and just like it described you to a T. And then I was like literally, so, and then I went to the sign up sheet, because there was like a sign up sheet and everything. And then I looked down and like, you had just signed your name before me. Like you had just auditioned before me. And I remember like my heart sank. I'm like literally, like the description of who this character is couldn't have been more you. because you were like, you know, I'm small, skinny little dude, and you're like this, you know, this big muscle bound like fighter, and like you look like a real Ultimate Fighter and shit. And like I was just thinking to myself, damn man, I'm probably not gonna get this. But I gave it my all, man. I gave it my all, dude. I was gonna get it, and then I was gonna like eventually tell you, man, I got that part. And I knew you auditioned for it. And I never got the call back. And then I found out you got it. And then I saw you in the movie too. So dude, I was like, yeah, good for you, man.
Dude, I think that was the first movie I ever got the audition for and actually got the role. I'm shit at auditioning, bro. I'm shit.
Well, that makes me feel much better.
Yeah.
Thanks. I must have been really bad.
No, you had a good point. Like, they probably just really wanted the way I look. You probably did better in your audition than I did, but I just probably like looked the part a little bit, you know. So I probably just looked the part a little bit better because, like I said, it's more to movies than what we know. It's like the camera and how you look on camera and stuff like that. You know, the director, I can tell he didn't like me because I'm not a real martial artist. You know what I'm saying? I'm not like you guys. I always been like a brawler. I'm a street brawler. Like, people always ask me, why you don't throw head kicks? Why you don't do this? Like, motherfucker, I'm a brawler. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, my background is basically like street fighting, you know, and I just learned how to wrestle a little bit. Then I learned how to kickbox, learned some jiu-jitsu defense. And then I started learning boxing, learning how to throw my hands. Like, over the years, you know, I just kind of evolved into somebody just I just got addicted to knocking people out. So I always try to knock people out, but I never really considered myself as a martial artist. So and when I remember shooting that movie, it was like a Japanese director, I can't remember his name, but he was kind of low key mad at me because he was asking me to throw these like weird kicks. I'm like motherfucker, have you ever seen me fight? I don't do that shit. I don't throw those weird kicks. And so it was probably just the way I looked back then. I was really in good shape and stuff back then, big guy. And yeah, it's probably just because of the way I look. Because, man, the only reason why I'm gonna tell you, the only reason why I got 18, the only reason why I won the audition there, because I knew about that movie years before anybody. I signed up with this manager, and he was like, he was giving me like trying to get me little small parts in here and there. And they was sending me out to audition for crazy shit, and I had to tell them, look, man, don't send me out auditioning for all these crazy shit. They had me auditioning for roles that Ashton Kutcher and shit would get. And I'm like, man, I don't want to audition for shit like that. Get me shit that, you know, I'm not like a actor. I'm like somebody I can, you know, just give me shit that I don't have to act. You know what I'm saying? You know, I can study acting a little bit, but give me shit I don't have to act. Give me little small shit. I don't want to be no star and shit right now. I'm still fighting. Just give me shit that I can be fun, like beating up folks. Or, you know, I'm a big kid, really. And then he was like, well, what type of shit you want to do? I said, look, man, if they ever make an 18 movie, get me up in that motherfucker. I want to play B.A. Baracus. And sure enough, maybe a year or so go by, he said, man, they're making an 18 movie. I was like, no fucking way. Like, yeah. And then he said, I can't believe I'm having a brain fart. What's the name of the guy that did Boys in the Hood? The director that did Boys in the Hood. He passed away recently. My good friend. Man. The director. Wow. I had the brain fart.
I hate when that happens, man. Sometimes like the most like embedded memories just disappear sometimes.
Yeah,
this is being a fighter, man.
I know it's part of
it'll come back later. You'll remember shit you don't need to remember.
I'm ashamed. Well, people watching there know exactly what I'm talking about.
That happens to me too, man.
He directed. He wrote Boys in the Hood. He's a black guy. He just passed away like maybe a year or two ago. Wow. Anyway, he was doing it, and he was like, "Man, you perfect for this. You perfect for this role of BA." And but I need you to take acting classes. I need you to learn how to act. And I'm like, well, damn, all I gotta do is say, "Shut up, fool." He was like, "No, man, you gotta. This is gonna be a big film. You gotta learn how to John Singleton."
John Singleton.
John Singleton.
Yeah.
John Singleton.
Right,
he was like, you gotta learn how to act. So I tried to go to acting classes, and I just couldn't learn like that. You know, it was in a class full of you know, my manager took me there at the time. My entertainment manager. It was like a big class full of a bunch of people that they wanted to be actors so bad, and it was just the energy and the scenery. I'm like, and the teacher. It's just honestly, my impression of that was like they're just making money. They're not really trying to teach people how to act. So
right.
I went and got an acting coach, and I learned one-on-one. And I'm still good friends with this guy today. He's in a lot of TV shows and a few movies. I went through a couple of different acting coaches, but I found this one that really taught me, and we worked really hard on the road. Then John Singleton pulled out. He said, "Oh, I don't like the direction they're going with the movie," so he's like, "I'm pulling out." And he was like, "You can still do it if you want, but you know they're not portraying B.A. Baracus the way that he should be portrayed." And he said, "Man, that guy's like one of the most iconic figures, you know what I'm saying, in the world. I'm not gonna be a part of what they're trying to do." And I kind of felt like I portrayed him by still going and doing the movie, because I've never been a big fan of anybody or anything, but I was a real big fan of B.A. Still am. I'm a big fan of Mr. T. Real big fan. You know, I'm one of his biggest fans. I used to watch that show with my dad when I was a kid, and I was like, this is my dream to play this. So I still did it. And when I did the movie, I never complained about it like publicly or anything, but I understood what John Singleton was talking about, what they were trying to do with the character of B.A. Baracus. Because if you really think about it, B.A. Baracus was the star of the TV show.
Yeah.
But he
got moved down in the movie.
Yeah, he got moved down in the movie, and he, you know what I'm saying, John Singleton, he knew what they was trying to do. And me, I'm the type of person that I don't really care about all that stuff, you know what I'm saying? I just want to have fun with the kid, you know what I'm saying? I don't, that's not why I want to do things. I don't want to do the role to be the biggest star in the movie, you know, so I just thought it would be fun. I get to shoot guns, beat people up, you know what I'm saying? I thought that was going to be fun. I get to play like one of my heroes. And so I knew when it's time for me to audition with Joe Carnahan, I knew what they was looking for. A lot of people thought that they was looking for Mr. T. I knew that they was looking for B.A. Baracus. So imagine every black actor, athlete, rapper, everybody wanted that role, right? And they all came in auditioning dressed like Mr. T. And I was like the only one that came in acting like B.A. Baracus, because John Singleton told me they're looking for a new B.A. Baracus. They don't want a new Mr. T. Like, you can't be another Mr. T. Yeah. And me being just a big fan of Mr. T, I knew that going in already. I didn't want to go there acting like Mr. T, because I couldn't do him justice. Like, if Mr. T would have passed away, maybe show him homage, something like that. But I wanted to be the new B.A. Baracus, and that's the only reason why I got that role, is because I studied really hard and I knew what they was looking for. But other than that, I haven't really landed any other auditions. I go to auditions here and there, and I fell on them all. I auditioned for G.I. Joe, other big movies, and I suck at auditioning, because if it's not real, it's not real. I can't do it.
Hey, what's up, guys? Sorry about the break. I just want to thank our sponsor, AKA Thailand, and let you guys know of the sale that we're doing, the reopen sale for when this crisis is over. All you guys that are planning on coming to AKA Thailand to train, that are emailing us and messaging us and asking us questions and trying to plan your trips for when this is over. Obviously, you don't know the dates. We don't know when this crisis is going to end, but we do know it will end. And you guys will probably be stir crazy, as I am, and you will want to train and get to Thailand as fast as possible. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to help you with that, and we set up a 30% discount as of right now until we hit our budget. And so it's all set up on the website, akathailand.com. All you got to do is, you have to log in. You just got to go to akathailand.com, click on the pricing. All group classes are on sale for 30% off. So if you want to train for a week, if you want to train for a month, a year, however long you're planning on coming, these are redeemable anytime in the future. This is a question that I keep getting from people. They're saying, man, I don't think I'm going to be able to get there till January of next year, or December or November, depending on when this crisis ends. Is it still valid then? The sale won't be valid. The sale is only going to be valid until we hit our budget, and then we're going to have to stop the sale because it's obviously costing us a third of our revenue. So we've allocated a certain amount of money to be in the cell. But once you purchase the package or the training, you can redeem it at any time. So you can redeem it in, you know, the second that this crisis is over and that we're open, or a year from now, 2 years from now. And we also will allow you to transfer it. So if something happens that you purchase a month of training, you decide you don't want to come to Thailand anymore, or you get injured or something, you want to give it to your buddy, give it to your friend, we will transfer it. All you got to do is email us, tell us the name, we'll put it in our POS, and then we'll have everything waiting on them when they arrive. So again, that's akathailand.com. If you have any other questions, you can email us at info@akathailand.com. Thanks. Yeah.
You've been on auditions where they just read your lines back to you. They're not acting with you.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
It sucks.
I bombed out on Rambo too. So I got the call from Dana again, and now I'm just like not even having faith when he calls me. But he called me for Rambo, and he's like, "I'm gonna send you down. They're looking for a mercenary to join Rambo in Thailand to film Rambo. You know, the most recent one. You know, since the recent one, the one before." Yeah. And same thing, man. I'm like freaked because he sent me my sides ahead of time, and I thought I had like an in, and I knew Sylvester Stallone was like going to go to the UFC and stuff, and like I figured I had some kind of in, right? And man, I studied these sides. Because dude, Rambo was like, I love the A-Team, but Rambo was my shit growing up, dude. Yeah. Rambo was I was gonna be Rambo when I was a kid in Texas, growing up, small town Texas, and so man, I went in there and I freaking, dude, I tried so hard. I was like the hardest I've ever worked for an audition, and I didn't get it. And then time went on and I kind of forgot about it. And then, like, as it turns out, ironically enough, my first UFC main event fight was against Josh Berkman, and I fought Josh Berkman at the Palms Casino, and I was the main event against Josh Berkman. And I show up at the fight, and I'm all excited because it's my first main event, and I'm like, yeah, I'm making it in the UFC. I'm a main event. This was like a long time after this audition. And when I show up, it's like Rambo everywhere. So like Rambo sponsored the UFC that I was the main event of. So it was like literally Rambo advertisements on every corner of the ring, on the bottom. And it was like Sylvester Stallone was front row. And I was like, it was so bittersweet because like I really wanted that role so bad and I didn't get it. And then here I am fighting in the middle of like this huge Rambo promotion. And I was like, what an ironic situation that was. So yeah, as you can tell, I suck at auditions, and I've done one movie. I fought Rudy Youngblood, the guy from Apocalypto, and that's like the only movie I've done.
What movie was that you was in?
Beatdown. I was in Beatdown with Michael Bisping, and I was in the final fight scene against Rudy Youngblood.
I think I saw that. Yeah.
Rudy, there's a few guys in there.
Yeah, I think I saw that. Hey, Rudy Youngblood, he's a special character, huh?
He's funny, man.
Yeah,
and he was smaller than me too.
Yeah, he's a nice guy.
I never realized you had to choreograph the entire fight scene. Like I always thought in movies, like you just kind of did one thing, stop, do another thing, stop, do another thing, stop. And so it was like, okay, I got to do a punch, pick him up, throw him down, and it's gonna cut. And then I'll like jump on the ground, and I'll do a choke or something, and then they'll cut. No, you have to do the whole entire scene, like choreograph the whole scene. I never knew about that. Well, that shit is hard.
Yeah,
that was hard,
people do
man.
It that way, but they do. You're correct. Some people do it like
that. Was hard to do that whole thing, like 10, 15 times. Just the whole entire fight from start to finish, different angles. They're getting angles from different.
Yeah,
and but it was cold. We were in a warehouse.
There wasn't a low budget movie then.
It was kind of mid budget, I think.
Okay, yeah, low budget. They do it like they do it.
It was kind of low.
Yeah, they do it the way you explain it. You do one move, cut. Do the other move, cut. But the bigger budget move, they do the whole thing.
Yeah,
I did like a low budget fight movie, and that's how they did it. You did a couple of moves and they cut, did different angles and they cut. Yeah, like I think some people like Chinese, like the Chinese directors, they have a certain style of doing it. I kind of felt like this one fight move I did. I kind of felt like this guy had like a Chinese he learned his style from Chinese director because I remember he put like a fake sock on that looked like a shoe, and he did like a kick and he smacked the guy with the sock. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I seen that shit in Chinese movies when I was a kid. So it's all different styles, but the way you did it is hard as fuck. I don't know.
It is hard, man.
I couldn't remember all of that shit.
And I did it in one day. Yeah, I don't know, man. The whole fight scene in one day, which sounds like it's nothing, but man, when you do 15 times,
Oh,
it was
fuck
a
yeah.
lot. And we had to do it in Dallas, and it was like in the winter time, and it was like cold, and it was in an old like warehouse that was like open air, but it was like this
Yeah.
rugged warehouse thing, and they had to spray us with water for sweat. So we were just like in this cold water, and like I was like spitting out this like chocolate syrupy blood out of my mouth like every 5 minutes, and it was like it was like
It's
I got
hard
paid
work,
good for that one day though, man, because I filled in for someone else that couldn't do it, and so they called me and said, hey, could you come in last minute? So it was good. I enjoyed it, but I definitely saw the hard work in it. Is that something that you're going to pursue more of? Because I see that you're in like post-production, pre-production on some films right now. Is this something that like what is it that you want to do next more than anything?
Well, I would really love to do more movies, but you know, I just got to get my ass in gear and lose like 30 pounds, bro. I just got to get my ass. I just got to get mentally there. I was on the way of doing it, going to the gym every day, and then just broke my diet once all this shit happened. I got you know, depressed and broke my diet. But that's my goal, to get back in shape and go and do it. It's fun to go and do movies. That's what I want to do. I think it's fun. You know, I like being a big kid. It's and you know, fighting, you can only do that for so long. You know, and
are you done fighting, or are you looking for to fight at least one or two more times?
I would like to fight one or two more times, because my last fight was just terrible. You know what I'm saying? It was just terrible. It was like the worst fight of my career, and you know, you just hate to leave on a note like that. You know,
Right.
I probably should have retired years ago, but you know, I still love the sport, and you know, I thought I still, you know, had, you know, a couple more years left in me, but I'm just getting over a bunch of different things that bother me in my life that I don't want to get into. But you know, I fixed a bunch of different things, and I got a lot of evil managers away from around me and stuff like that, and now I'm finally in a clear headspace. I just need to be more focused on you know, like the important things. And then once I retire, you know, it's a lot of other things that I can do. But you know, acting is just, I like it. It's just fun. You know, it gives you
Right.
It's like when you're a kid and you like make believe and you do all this stuff. I think that's what it is for adults. It's like being a kid again.
Yeah, and you're in Huntington Beach right now, right?
Yeah, I'm in Huntington right now.
So you're not far from LA anyway. So it's easier for you to go in and audition and try to get some roles and stuff.
Yeah, but you know, I don't do all that. Like I said, I suck at auditions and stuff like that. So I don't do all that auditioning and shit. You know, I don't do all that shit, man. Like I haven't been able to study. Like acting, you got to keep studying, and so pretty soon I'm gonna start back studying. You should probably study more too, man. Get some more roles. You out there in Thailand, you can create your own shit.
I'm in a crisis right now, man. I've been building this gym for 10 years, and it's shut down. I mean, it's government mandated. The whole island shut down. So now I'm just paying the most expensive gym membership I've ever paid in my life every month until this gym opens, because I got zero revenue coming in, and I haven't laid off a single employee. I'm paying all the fees and all the bills, all the taxes out of my own pocket. So if this thing goes on for like 2-3 months, that's bad. But if it goes on for 6 months, that's even worse. So I got to focus on getting that set up, and then I want to come back strong. Like I was talking in my last podcast, like I'm fired up to, you know, this is something that's supposed to break people, you know, supposed to break business owners and entrepreneurs and people that are like, this is the ultimate test. This is the worst case scenario, you know, a virus going around and the place where you have a business getting shut down, where none of your customers can even fly to your business, and then on top of that, the government then comes and tells you have to shut it down. It's like the absolute worst case scenario that you could never predict in a million years. So we're supposed to fail. We're supposed to be weak. We're supposed to come back and struggle and have to work ourselves and grind ourselves back up. But I'm doing everything in my power to make sure that when we come back, we're going to come back stronger and make an impact and show people that, you know, we didn't just sit around, and we're working on things during this time, and we're improving things. We're improving the website. We're working on an app. We're doing the podcast. We're doing, you know, a lot of different things in marketing that's going to help promote this thing and get this thing back, where when we do open those doors again, I think we're going to come out with a bang. You know, we already got all brand new gear ready, bags, everything set up inside in the cool, nice indoor, you know, so it's going to look nice when we come back. And so it's like, I got to focus on that for a while once we get over this crisis.
Well, let me know anything I can do to help promote your gym when it's get back open, man. 'Cause I always been a fan of
I
you.
got to get you out there.
Yeah, you're fighting. Yeah, I want to get out there, but I know you guys gonna be filming shit, so I got to get my ass in shape just a little bit before I get out there. 'Cause I want my big
Nah,
belly
man.
out there in Thailand on the beach, big hairy belly hanging out,
We'll
scaring all the fucking tourists.
we'll wait, man. We'll wait like 5 days until you lose 30 pounds. So you got to get out here, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Ask Tyron, man. You will get the weight off you so fast out here. And it's fun. I mean, we can have some fun while we're doing it, man. We can cruise on the boats and check out the islands and hit the beaches and burn calories. And it's a good time, man. So
I'm down.
You know,
I'm down.
Well, just hit me up as soon as this thing's over. Stay safe. Hit me up when this thing is over with, and I'll get you out here, and we'll have some fun, man.
All right. Sounds good, man. Thank you for
I want to say one more thing too. So I was fighting in Lemoore. Obviously, you've been a big inspiration for me in my career coming up, and when I was coming up through my career and watching your fights in Pride and all your fights in general. And I remember one moment in particular in Lemoore, California, at the WEC. I was fighting like WC3, WC4. I don't remember. It was probably 2002, 2003 time frame. And I remember you showed up to one of the events. You were like a guest or something, or maybe you had a fighter fighting or something like that. I don't know if it was your Lexus or not. I don't know. Did you have a Lexus back then?
Oh yeah, I always have a Lexus somewhere.
Yeah. So back then, you strolled up in like a Lexus and you got out and you were walking with your guys and stuff. And I saw you and I didn't say anything, man. But I was just like, wow, man. I was just like, damn. I was like, man, there's hope for people like us, man. I was like, look at that's Quinton Rampage Jackson. He's came out of his nice Lexus. He's got his group around him. You were kicking ass in your career, and like, it was such an inspiration for me, man. Like seeing that and you know, hoping to one day get to a point where I could also fight like that and have nice things, and so it's always been a big thing for me. That was a big moment, so I just want to tell you that.
Thanks, man. You know, that's the part of the fighting that I never thought about. I never thought about other fighters looking up to me like that, or you know, it's been a wild ride for me too. I was just doing something that I thought was positive. You know, I grew up fighting in the streets, and so I'm like, fuck, I can fight and get paid for it, and not go to jail, not get in trouble. I just, you know, I can, you know, for me, it was always like my hustle. It's always like my hustle. So I kind of wish that I knew the stuff you were telling me. I kind of wish I knew that back then. Maybe I would have, you know, maybe I probably would have, you know, probably even trained even harder. Or I didn't realize people was basically watching me other fight. I just thought I was entertaining the fans. I always wanted to be very entertaining for the fans. That's the only thing I focus on. You know, I figured this: if I go out there and be very entertaining for the fans, the promoters have to pay me big bucks. That's you know, I've always fought for money. I never fought for fame. I never fought for anything else. I always fought with honor. You know, I always wanted to be like the fighter with honor, like try not to give low blows, try not to do illegal and dirty stuff. I want to really beat somebody. If somebody beat me, like, oh, okay, they was better than me. You know, if I beat somebody, like, oh, I was better than them. But I always wanted to entertain the crowd, and so the promoters knew my worth. And that's the only thing I was focusing on. I didn't think the other fighters and stuff was watching me and stuff like that. If I would have known stuff like that, maybe I would have tried a little bit harder to stay on top for longer and stuff like that. You know, things you don't think about.
That's my fault, man. I should have came up to you in Lemoore and told you, and then you would have known. I guarantee you, man. There's a lot of people out there that were inspired by you. And when I was coming up through WEC and then getting in the UFC, I would have this folder on my computer with all the highlight videos. I would collect highlight videos from the internet. Back in the old days, the fans would make highlight videos, and I would watch them. And I would get the guys that were the most dangerous. I wanted to be the lion, the alpha. You know, you've seen some of my fights. I fight crazy, you know, and like I wanted to be that knockout guy. And the two best highlights that I would say for the very end before that I'd watch on Fight Week to get pumped up and get ready was you and Vanderlei, and I know y'all have had y'all's history, but y'all were the two main highlights back then that I would watch to get me fired up to fight. And I was gonna ask you, so what is the tally with you guys now? Are you 2-2?
Yeah, we 2-2.
So y'all there's a fight right there, man.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I got
if you want another fight.
He's so small. I gotta make sure I get back down. I know I it should be some type of tiebreaker, but we both old as hell, and you know the last 2 times I knocked him out. I don't even think he should. I don't even think he should be fighting again. But
that's like just a fan in me saying that.
Yeah, I would fight.
I don't really want to.
I'll fight Vanderlei 100 times, but you know, I remember I watched Vanderlei at UFC 20 before I was even a fighter. I went there with this guy who got me into MMA, and I became a big fan of Vanderlei that day. And Vanderlei, he didn't know it all these years. He was fighting in Pride and stuff. I was always like a fan of. I like his fighting style. He's aggressive. You know what I'm saying? He's like one of the guys I always looked up to. But Vanderlei could never stand me. He always hated me in Pride and Japan because I wasn't afraid of him. You know, in Japan, a lot of fighters were scared of Vanderlei, and he liked it. But you know, I'm from the streets. Like I'm like, this motherfucker, is he going to shoot me? Is he going to shoot me or stab me? No, then I ain't afraid of him. You know what I'm saying?
He beat 90% of his people for that 10-year run, I think, by doing this. I think he broke so many people, and when he did this before the fight, they were just like, fuck my life, I'm done. And then they just would walk out there and just get knocked out. Yeah, they were just so done, dude.
Yeah, he was aggressive. His fight style is really good for MMA. The way he fights, he's aggressive. I thought, you know, I thought he was great.
Well, whether you fight again or not, man, you've had a great career, man. I really appreciate you coming on and having this. I know you don't do a lot of interviews, a lot of podcasts for sure. And man, I've always wanted to talk to you. So it's been great to chat with you. And thanks for taking time. I was going to ask you one quick thing. Obviously, I got to ask you because you're an OG. Did you ever expect through your whole career that it would come to the point where it is today with guys like Conor McGregor and Khabib and the following that they have bigger than actors and celebrities? And like, did you ever think we would get to MMA in general would get to a mainstream point like that? And then what do you think of that?
No, I never thought that it would. I never thought when I first started fighting back in the King of the Cage days, like I think it was still called NXB. I never thought that. I never thought that it
no holds barred.
Yeah, I think it was just changing to MMA. It was just changing to MMA like right around that time, and I never thought that it would get this big. I think it's great that I think it's great for for us that it can get this big and people can earn a good living. But real talk, I'm a little bit jealous of Conor McGregor a little bit because he's doing the stuff that I want to do. I wanted to box and stuff like that. I asked Dana and the UFC and stuff let me to get me a boxing match back when I was young, and I used to like say whatever was on my mind and stuff like Conor McGregor did, but I was told like, oh, don't say that, don't do this, don't say that, and then it was a lot of things that I wanted to do and everything, but I wasn't allowed to do it. And like, oh, that's not good. It's not right. Then I see this other kid coming up doing all this shit. I'm like, what the fuck? And it works. You know what I'm saying? I think that's what our sport needed, a superstar like that come out of nowhere and just does and say whatever he wants. Like, is Conor McGregor the best fighter on the planet? No, but he's like one of the best entertainers, and he's bringing a lot of eyes to our sport, and I think that's good. But I just wish the UFC and other MMA shows would pay fighters like boxers got paid. Our sport is harder than boxing. I'm sorry, even though it's safer than boxing, a lot more boxers die than the MMA fighters. But MMA is safer, but nobody trains harder than us. No,
yeah,
nobody.
Sure.
We have to train at least 3 or 4 different martial arts and still like do cardio and weightlifting and that. No one trains harder than us. And that fight is a 5-minute round, and you got to do 5-minute rounds if it's a championship fight or a main event. That's hard. I don't think people understand how hard that is. And when you think about what some fighters are getting paid, it's like, man, it's like, I just feel bad. Not only not only is it that's bad, but think about when MMA fighters, when we go out in the real world, like other people don't really respect us because they don't, cause they think that we're chumps, we chump change because we don't get paid that much. So when like I get offered to do certain things, like for instance, I lost money doing the 18 movie because I didn't make like Mike Tyson money like I should have when I was fighting. I was champion and stuff like that. I didn't make back then. I didn't make hundreds of millions of dollars like I felt like I should have. You know what I'm saying? I made millions, but I didn't make hundreds of millions. And people don't know we make millions because they only show the purse you get. So they only show that you only get 200 some thousand. They don't know about the other money that you actually get and your pay-per-view money. So people look up your purse and say, "Oh, what? He only got $250,000 for that fight." When in reality, you know what I'm saying, you probably got paid a couple million, but they don't know that. They think you only got paid 200 something thousand, right? And then when you go out in the real world and say you do a movie, you do a commercial for Nike, or you do something else, they're gonna pay you chump change because it's like, oh, he a chump. He only fights for $250,000. You know what I'm saying? They would pay you
So your
$10,000.
you mean like your stature goes down, almost kind of like having like low following on Instagram nowadays. It's like your stature's
Right.
kind of less because they think you don't make money, is what you're saying.
Right, right. That's the way the
Yeah.
world. That's the way the world works. Like I said, I would have done the 18 movies for free. I would have done it. I would have done that shit for free. But I lost money doing it because I was supposed to fight Rashard Evans, but the movie came at the same time. I make way more money fighting than I do acting. So I lost money doing the movie, and but I said no, I do this shit all again. But I'm glad that Conor McGregor say if somebody want Conor to be in the movie now, instead of paying him a hundred thousand, they're gonna have to pay him like 2 or 3 million just
Yeah.
to do it, right? So, but if Conor McGregor wasn't making the type of money that he was making, even with that same stardom, if he wasn't making the type of money he was making, then they could still get him for 100,000. You know what I'm saying? So he makes more money. So why is he gonna do a movie for 100,000 when he already making like multi millions fighting? So that's where MMA kind of fucked us in our generation. You know what I'm saying? It was said that UFC had an antitrust lawsuit going against them, and because they paid fighters 80% less, so the promoter kept 80% and the fighter kept 20%. And boxing is reversed, and that was kind of messed up the economy somehow around the fighters and stuff. So, say for instance, if you underpay, say you got say you got this big warehouse in a small town, and you underpay everybody. In that small town, the economy is going to get fucked up because these people they can't they can't buy new cars, they can't go on vacations, they can't buy houses. You know what I'm saying? They can't keep the economy around that little city going because they don't make enough money. They can't afford this shit, right? So that's basically what was going on in MMA, and no one's corrected it. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's kind of where I'm at right now. I think it's good for the sport, but at the same time, I think it's time for the promoters to start paying fighters what they're worth. Okay, if a fighter's not worth that, then fucking don't pay him. But this guy's selling a bunch of tickets and you know what I'm saying, and very popular. Pay the fighters what they're worth.
Yeah, and going back to the Conor thing, man, I know you're not going to want to hear this. It ain't going to make you feel any better, but I think you were definitely ahead of your time, man, because, it's not that Conor is undefeated. He had the it factor, and he was an exciting fighter who went for it. And I don't think anyone would argue that that is exactly what you were. It was just the time frame.
Yeah.
But it's never too late, man. It's never too late. And I think we need to get you to Thailand, man, and get you 30 pounds lighter, get you some sun, get you some fun, and see what we can do, man. So as soon as this is over with and this crisis is done and it's safe, I'm going to get you down to Thailand, man. We're going to have some fun.
All right, sounds good. You got my word that I'm going to do it.
Yep.
I need that. I need to get away from here and focus. Now I want to do one boxing match before I retire, and then I'm happy.
Well, thanks for all your inspiration, man, and through my career, and I owe you big time, and I'm going to pay it all back in Thailand. So
thanks,
when
man.
this is over, you're going to come see me, man, and then we're going to have a good time.
Sounds good, man. You stay safe out there.
All right, brother. You stay safe, too.
All right. Peace.
All right. Quinton Rampage Jackson. Wow. I didn't expect to get almost an hour out of him. you know, he had been messaging me about coming to Thailand, and so I put it out there. I wanted to get him on the podcast, and he was just totally cool about it. And we set it up, and it's great talking to him. He's a personality in the sport that I've seen, you know, I've ran into here and there, but I've never got to really talk to in depth. And he was such a huge inspiration for me in my career coming up. I don't think he knew that, as you can tell from the reaction that he had. I don't think he felt like he was an inspiration to a lot of people, which we all know that he definitely was. I mean, he's an icon and a legend of the sport. So this was an amazing podcast for myself to be here in quarantine and talk to someone that's, you know, that I looked up to in my career. And, you know, I was at his last fight in person, so he's still fighting. And someone I looked up to, someone that fought during my career, and now someone that's still fighting after my career. So he's definitely a fighter to the core, someone I admire and look up to, and it was a privilege to talk to him. So if you're on our audio platforms, subscribe to iTunes or Spotify or Stitcher or SoundCloud. If you're on YouTube right now, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, leave comments. I try to answer all the comments, or someone from the show will try to answer all the comments. We have a lot of stuff coming to you guys. I said that I was going to be doing these quarantine episodes back to back and with good guests, and we've done Tyron Woodley, Michelle Watterson, and now Quinton Rampage Jackson, all in the week, in a week's time. And I got Forrest Griffin in the morning. In fact, I got Forrest Griffin in like 9 hours from now. So I got to somehow wrap this up, get some sleep, and then do Forrest Griffin. So we're definitely going to keep these going. If you would like to see somebody on the podcast talk about their what they're doing in quarantine, what they think about this coronavirus, or any other things that we can talk about, let me know, and type in the comments, and we will try to make it happen. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.
Real quick, with Mike Swick.